Curiosity-based newsletter, April 7th, 2026. Subject line: Do women even want men there? Image caption: Julie moderated a panel at the annual Women in Tech Wit Regatta, a week-long series of events that explicitly brings together women and allies. There are usually 3 to 5 men who attend each event. It will take place April 26th to 30th this year in Seattle. In my March 3rd newsletter, I asked, where are all the men? I got curious about the lack of men at events celebrating women's achievements, as well as at events featuring female athletes and speakers, especially during Women's History Month. I was moved by the sincere responses I received from newsletter readers. Most came from men directly, and some from women sharing perspectives from the men in their lives. Their responses made me think that audience makeup is not just about individuals choosing whether to attend. It is also shaped by the implicit and explicit intentions of organizers and how they communicate those intentions. Many men are just responding to those signals, and I don't blame them for not showing up to spaces that give off exclusive vibes. What I had naively not considered in my earlier post were the reasons why some women may not want men present, or at least not fully engaged, at women-centered events. Now I'm wondering, do women even want men there? One man shared that he attended a keynote by a female leader. When he and a few male friends lined up to speak with her afterwards, they were told that access was only for members of the women's organization hosting the event. While he was disappointed, this exclusion did not upset him because he recognized why his ability to participate in the overall event was limited. I understand why many women value spaces that are exclusively for women. I have witnessed instances of how men in women-centered spaces can derail conversations and center their own experiences. Inviting men can pose a risk. So, there are different types of conversations that organizers of a woman-centered event might want to facilitate. As one man who responded pointed out to me, two events with identical content can attract very different audiences depending on how they are marketed. Titling an event Women's Leadership versus Innovation and Leadership signal different things, even if they both feature a panel of female innovators. Or consider the example of a high-profile female leader whose presentation is focused on sharing her personal journey. Here's how that conversation could be positioned for different intended audiences. 1. Exclusive. The speaker wishes to share her story only with other women. 2. Semi-exclusive. The speaker welcomes men to listen and learn as allies, but not to actively participate. 3. Open to all. Anyone is welcome, and the conversation is designed for full participation from everyone. Keeping in mind that men cannot be legally excluded, it's important to convey these intentions carefully. Once organizers are clear about the type of conversation they want to host, they can market accordingly. When I reflect on my own experiences organizing events celebrating women, I realize now that I did not always clearly express the kind of conversation I wanted to host. My default preference was open to all, though I could have done a much better job communicating that. I used to think men just weren't interested when they didn't show up. Women have long navigated male-dominated spaces where they felt not fully included or welcomed. Some women may read this post and think, what's the big deal? Men should experience what that feels like. I get that reasoning. But I don't think repeating exclusion in the opposite direction supports diverse leadership. I also find myself wanting more cross-gender conversations where people are listening and learning from one another. Sometimes I leave women-centered events feeling like we're just speaking unnecessarily within an echo chamber. Getting more male participation has been on my mind as we conduct research for the next edition of Seven Forms of Respect, which will focus on respect outside of work. We have engaged nearly 200 people through interviews, focus groups, and workshops since last fall. Participation is voluntary, and the majority of those who have opted in have been women. Because I want to include more male perspectives, I need to be more intentional about inviting them in. As a next step, I will host focus groups specifically for men to talk about respect in their relationships outside of work, particularly in their friendships. These will be offered both virtually and in person. If you're a man interested in contributing to this research, I would love to hear from you. One final note. All of the men who responded to me said that they would be much more likely to attend an event if they received a personal invitation. I actually don't think that just goes for men. If you want someone to attend, reach out and invite them personally. I will be sending out a lot of individual invitations, and I will let you know how that goes. Best, Julie. To learn more about Curiosity Based and to subscribe to our newsletter, please visit us at curiositybased.com.